I would be shocked if he was on the opening day roster. That is what a New York Jets media member who covers the team every day texted me earlier. A guy who's been at OTAs and has not seen Denzel Mims there, has not been a participant. And I do think that it is the end of the line for Denzel Mims. We'll talk about why. Then I kind of want to circle back to the Jets offensive coaching staff change that we talked about a little bit yesterday and dig a little bit deeper into that there. A lot of you guys left some pretty good comments that I want to expand upon. But on Mims, for starters, even if you're a Denzel Mims truther, which I dabble in some Denzel Mims trutherism. We're going to get into it. I don't go full Jets forever. That's not something I ever recommend anybody do. But I can't unsee Denzel Mims as a rookie coming in with a bad quarterback and Sam Darnold, with a bad coach and Adam Gase, with just horrific offensive talent and scheme and everything, and still putting up a very respectable 45 yards a game. Very respectable. And I think at the end of Denzel Mims' rookie year, for me, I was thinking, okay, we have a pretty good wide receiver too. I don't think he ever had the traits, the separation, the consistent hands to be a wide receiver one coming out of Baylor. But I thought we had ourselves a wide receiver two on a rookie contract, and we were good to go. Then we head into 2021, and I know we had like the food poisoning or whatever, but it seems to me that him and Mike LaFleur never got on the same page. And I got to tell you, it really rubbed me the wrong way how on a team that had no business competing for anything in 2021, the Jets were playing Jeff Smith, whose crucial contributions on special teams were really moving the needle on the Jets chasing an AFC East title in 2021, that we couldn't play our second round, 6'3", sub 4.4 speed guy who had 45 yards per game the year before. He couldn't get onto the field because he couldn't learn all of the positions of Mike LaFleur's brilliant offense. What's interesting about that is the defenses that studied Mike LaFleur's offense learned it very quickly, but his own young talented playmakers struggled to do so. And whenever we talk about these young offensive players on the team that have struggled for whatever reason, whether it be Zach Wilson, Mekhi Becton, Elijah Moore's trade request, or Denzel Mims' trade request, it always kind of circles back to Mike LaFleur. And there's a blame salad to go around. I don't think any of those four individual players are completely without fault in some of the struggles that they've had. But let's be honest, Mike LaFleur was the dressing on all of it, man. And you can see why he's gone. So I just didn't understand that with Mims. Now, since then, he's had some opportunities. He made a couple big plays, a willing blocker, but he's had some drops and some penalties. And I don't know if I can see him. What's the highest on the depth chart he could possibly be? Right? He's not going to be obviously above Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Allen Lazard, or Mecole Hardman, and even Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb has the inside track. Randall Cobb has caught a touchdown pass in his career, and Denzel Mims hasn't. Randall Cobb has the trust and respect of Aaron Rodgers and Nathaniel Hackett. And the same beat reporter confirmed what Connor Hughes said. It's not Connor Hughes, by the way. Confirmed what Connor Hughes said on Green Bean's channel like over a month ago, that he said Denzel Mims has not gotten off to a great start in the relationship with the new coaching staff. OTAs hadn't even started yet. So I don't understand that. And with Mims, I think he sees the writing on the wall too, that he's not going to be here. And I would imagine his trade request stands. And I think the Jets are going to try to shop him. I mean, you're talking probably Mims in a 7th for a 6th at this point, really. And I think if the Jets can't trade him, I would bet you that Mims requests to be released and to start over somewhere else. And my hopes of him being a wide receiver 2 are done, I think. But I still think he can go somewhere and be a depth wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, who comes in, give you some vertical threat, some contested catchability, some speed, physicality, and have a 6-7 year career for himself, make $15 million. I still think that's in the cards for Denzel Mims, but obviously the stock is way down since he's been drafted, and the Jets have heavily invested in the undrafted free agency market, guys who have been popping, guys that Aaron Rodgers has praised, like Jason Brownlee, like Jerome Kapp, like Gibson, like Irv Charles. So one of those guys, even if Mims is, say it's Brownlee, right? Even if Mims is 10% better than Brownlee, is your wide receiver 6 being 10% better? Is that worth, the trade-off of where you can have a guy like Brownlee who's now under contractual control for 3-4 years, where Mims is on a 1-year rental? So for all those reasons, I think Denzel Mims is probably gone, either traded for next to nothing, unfortunately, or just flat out released by the team. Now, circling back to the coaching staff, with this new coaching staff, I hope it's a little bit different because I, I understand that ideally you would love your entire roster to be constructed of guys like AVT. I'll play any position, selfish, just show up, bring my lunch pail, get to work. Carl Lawson. I'm going to tear my Achilles, re-tear it, rehab like a 1% work ethic, be ready, not miss a game, and just be a home run in the locker room, right? Like Dwayne Brown, who will strap it up with one arm. You'd hope that ideally you'd have a 53-man roster composed of those guys, but it never works that way. You want mostly those guys so you can build a strong culture, but even good teams with good cultures, you have that one pass rusher who's just kind of crazy. You have that one wide receiver who's kind of a diva, but he scores touchdowns, right? And from a coaching staff and leadership perspective, even if these players are imperfect, it's still your job to navigate imperfect personalities and get the most out of these players. And I think that outside of the obvious blue chip talent that they drafted in the top 15, ABT, Sauce Garrett, the Jets have objectively failed to do that with their offensive talent the past couple of years. Objectively failed to do that. So I hope that the new coaching staff, whether it's Saleh going into his third year, with Hackett, with Downing, with Aaron Rodgers being an extension of the coaching staff on the field, I hope there's more of that mentality of, we're going to meet you where you are. We're going to take the things you can do and accentuate those, and we'll work on your weaknesses later. Okay, you don't know the whole playbook, but what are you bringing to the table that we can work with, that we can get you on the field, that you can contribute? And to me, that was kind of lacking. And I think Mike LaFleur just saw himself as the smartest guy in the room, and it was his system was the end all be all above the talent of the players. And I think really good coaches, it's inverted. Really good coaches understand that talent is king, and they find a way to unlock it. And I hope that we see some more of that. But for Mims, it's probably going to have to be somewhere else. And we'll talk ball soon.